Welcome to Too Old, Too New, the music discovery podcast that brings you something old, something new, something Nate, something Bruce. I'm Nate Runkle, host of the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast, and with me, as always, is my good friend Bruce Warren from WXPN. The premise of this show is simple. Each week we bring you two songs apiece. One new song that's been metaphorically spinning our turntable platters, and one old song that absolutely still matters. But this week, slight change. Before we get into it, though, what's up, my friend?
Sorry, I'm having a piece of candy. What's up is, you know, life is up, I guess. I don't know. Everything's groovy. Summer, starting to feel the heat of the summer, which is good. Although, I don't know if you looked ahead at the temperature, at the weather, but the next, 5 or 6 days is fucking rain every fucking day.
It sure is, and I got Ringo tickets on Sunday.
You know what? I got Ringo tickets too, dude.
Oh, we'll have to high five.
I'm psyched.
I am too, man.
I'm ready to rock the Ringo, man. Come on.
Hell yeah.
And sorry, I was eating a piece of candy. I'm actually sitting in somebody's office, and they have a bowl of candy here. There isn't much candy in it, but these gummy, chewy, they're not like gummy, like pot, like marijuana. Right. These little gummy things, these are really, really good. I may have to have another one. Nice. Anyway, you doing good?
I'm doing great, man. The weather, I am a weather guy, and so if the weather is good, I'm good. If the weather is miserable, I'm probably miserable. And the weather's pretty good right now, so I feel pretty good.
I'll buy that. I'll take that.
Though I will say, and the theme of our show this week, I am saddened because we're losing legends left and right. And this week we're going to spend some time celebrating the life of Brian Wilson. But before we do, we got to mention Sly Stone passing 2 days before Brian. And God damn it, just two absolute geniuses gone in the same week.
Yeah, very sad. Yeah, very sad. I don't even know what to say. So many great. Without Sly, there would be no, right. And you could say the same thing about without Brian Wilson, there would be no. And that true innovators, true geniuses. There's nothing I'm going to be able to say, or where you're probably going to be able to say that that we don't already know. I'll just say in 25 years. From now, the kids are still going to be listening to fucking Thank You for Letting Me and Dance to the Music and God Only Knows and Disney Girls or Little Deuce Coupe. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just leave it at that,
Yeah, so we've come to celebrate Brian. So some of these are actually, all of these are technically old, but whatever. You break the rules for the guy who broke the rules of music, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll start first. One of the things I was thinking about bringing as one of my songs was, are you familiar with Monkey's Uncle? It's an Annette Funicello song featuring the Beach Boys from a Disney movie. I love the monkey's uncle and the monkey's uncles eat for me. Anyway, that's what I was going to bring. But it's great. You got to check it out. I like to drop that in music trivia at times when I'm just Disney music trivia. Okay, what's this one from? And everyone's like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's from the fucking monkey's uncle. They say it 9 million times. But anyway, instead, I dug deep because I was trying to, there's so many songs that Brian had his hands in that just deserve to be listened to in celebration. And what I wanted to, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot. We can't talk about the Beach Boys like this. I feel underdressed. Let me do something real quick here.
This is a set change.
Let's get this. Let's get this on.
Look at you, Nate.
I come to celebrate, not to mourn, right? So,
ahoy, Captain.
So, for my first pick, I picked
wait, hold on. Wait, I just noticed you have a fucking Beach Boys t-shirt on too.
Yeah, I'm all out. I'm
Dude,
all in it.
You are the fucking best.
Look, I come prepared.
You do.
I
You
come
do.
to play. For my first selection, though, this old song, this actually isn't a Beach Boys song. This is a Glen Campbell song, and it was written by Brian Wilson and Russ Tittleman. If you don't know who Russ Tittleman is, went on to become a great, legendary music producer. He produced "Good Old Boys" for Randy Newman. He did Brian's first solo record. He did Clapton's "Journeyman." It just a absolute legend. And they wrote this song for the album The Beach Boys Today. It was during that session, but the band passed on it. They rejected it because no one wanted to sing it. And so Brian had his famous mental breakdown in 64 and 65 and stopped touring with the band. Filling in for him was Glen Campbell, legendary, now legendary country singer, but at the time, legendary session musician who actually played on this song. The song is Guess I'm Dumb. And so after they got done that tour, Brian offered Glen Campbell this song and he said, "Do you want it?" And he was like, "I absolutely want it." And he recorded it. Now, this song is considered the prelude to Pet Sounds because this is the first time that Brian really starts kind of using orchestration and stuff like that in his songs. So like this is kind of, you can hear odes of themes that are once again revisited in Pet Sounds. So this is "Guess I'm Dumb" by Glen Campbell, written by Brian Wilson and Russ Tittleman. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's got a little bit it's got a little bit of that instrumentation. You know, the baritone sax coming in there feels, you know, straight out of like a Pet Sounds excerpt. Yet it was a few years before. Featuring on the background vocals Brian and Carl Wilson, as well as the Honeys, which of course had Brian's wife and Carney and Wendy's mom in there.
That's
So
right. That's
yeah,
right. God, I
great
forgot
song.
about Carney and Wendy. Damn. Yeah, them too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh
So that's
man.
guess I'm dumb.
So many great so many amazing songs, so many really great records too, you know, like album wise. You know, they put out so many amazing records. There was a shift, right, from I guess sometime in I guess the early 70s where they wanted to be taken more seriously. Um, More than just a you know, Little Deuce Coupe and you know, California. I wish they all could be California girls, surfboard,
Yeah.
rock and roll. And let's see, what do I want to do first here? Let's do Surfs Up first, okay?
Okay.
So, title track to this song came out in 1971. So many incredible songs on this record. Title song, which I'm going to play in a second. Long Promise Road, Disney Girls, right? Like, I mean, come on, right? Just like brilliant songs. Brian was not that involved in the making of this record, but there were, you know, his, you know, footprint, his sonic footprints all over it. You know, it was progressive sounding for the time, and there was some psychedelia for the time. And you know, I'm kind of looking at the track listing here. Um, you know, I would say, don't go. It was sort of like it's a very bipolar record. You know, there were classic sort of FM radio jams like, you know, Feel Flows and Don't Go Near the Water. But then there were like, you know, Student Demonstration Time was on this record. Like, you know, a song that was written by Lieber and Stoller. So yeah, a little bit of everything. But let's do this. It Surfs Up. Now, some would say that the best song on this record is Disney Girls, a song that was written by Bruce Johnston. But, you know, I always had an emotional connection to the beauty of Surf's Up, a song that was co-written by Brian along with Van Dyke Parks. The other thing is this is one of one of three songs where brother Carl, Brian, and Al Jardine actually sang the lead vocals together. So you kind of get a taste of like the new progressivism of their songs, but also you still get the taste of those harmonies, which, you know, at the end of the day is sort of, you know, what we're writing home about. So
Yeah.
that Surfs Up from
And
from the boys of the beach.
And famously, the song that Mike Love absolutely hated the fucking lyrics to.
That's right.
Because
That's
he
right.
did not like the phrase columnated ruins domino, which is fucking
Exactly.
beautiful. Also, fuck Mike Love.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Fuck Mike Love. Fuck Mike Love.
Yeah, no, like that song is just so powerful. Of course, was originally on what he wanted Imagined Smile to be before it
right.
got taken apart and reworked, but then revisited with the guys from the Wondermints and all, and just a killer track there. Like the child is son of man or brother of man at the
Brother of Man.
outro.
Right.
Yeah, like, oh my God, it's beautiful.
So Nate, when you and I saw Brian, we were in the same room, World Cafe
Yes.
Live in Philadelphia,
2015.
2015 during WXPN's non-convention. He had the Wondermints with him. Were they his band at that point?
Yes,
Or was it?
yes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. That's what I remember.
Yeah, Dorian was kind of the band leader of that, who
Right.
kind of helped Brian put that project together and do all of those Smile songs and stuff like that. I think they first got together when they did the Pet Sounds tour. Prior to that, sounds familiar. Anyone who doesn't know, I shared a clip of In My Room from that performance up on the Substack, and Bruce mentioned that he was sitting in the wings with the guys from Calexico watching. Bruce, did you get to talk to Brian at all during that?
Oh yeah, and in fact, I spent hours last night looking for a photo that I thought we took, and I could not find it. It's somewhere. I went like through everything, but it was funny because there was a guy named John Landman, a friend of mine who's in the music industry, and John was at NonCon that year, and I remember we were backstage after the performance, and John took pictures with me and Brian, and John and Brian, right? And I thought he took the picture and sent it to me, and I still am pretty clear on this memory, but I don't have the picture. So I texted him literally at like midnight last night. I was like, he lives in Vegas now. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't still, I said, if my memory serves me right, you wouldn't still happen to have those photos. You were there, right? Anyway, I completely had the memory almost right. We were both together. We both were hanging out in the small green room behind World Cafe Live. And Brian was just sitting there. And I walked in and he's like, hey man, come on in. And I got to find that picture. But
amazing.
it was a brilliant, that was a brilliant moment. I remember, so it was a double header and literally Calexico opened up for Brian Wilson. And Brian that day played Heroes and Villains, God Only Knows, In My Room, Surfing USA, and I want to say he played two more songs. Sail Away, which I think was a newer song at that point. And there was one more song I can't remember, but I remember
did Love and Mercy.
Love and Mercy. Thank you. And I remember I was like, we were standing, I was with my wife, and it was like the two of us, and we were standing next to the guys from Calexico. And when he started singing God Only Knows, we all started crying. It was one of the most moving experiences. Now, you've seen the Beach Boys a bunch of times, right?
Yeah, there was nothing like that show. That show was magic. It was absolutely magic. Like, and because of the size of the room, I never in my life imagined I would see Brian Wilson in a small little venue like World Cafe Live.
Right. There were probably 400 people, maybe 400 people, maybe.
Yeah. And like it was absolutely. Here's the crazy thing is that was the very first day I met my father-in-law. My wife's father is an enormous Beach Boys fan, and we were going down and we met on the train, and it was very nerve-wracking, and then we both like just completely geeked out because there was Brian fucking Wilson. So not only does that show hold an important musical memory for me, but also an important life memory for me.
Yeah, that's great. So was your father-in-law wearing a captain's hat though the day you met him?
He was not, but he did. I'm pretty sure he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt though. Yeah, like yeah, for sure. I mentioned "Love and Mercy." That was another song I had thought about picking because I was listening actually to a clip from that performance, and there's a line in the second verse where it's like, um, "I was lying in my bed when the news came on the TV. A lot of people out there hurting, and it really scares me." And like, just fucking, if there isn't a line for now that I like, it is fucking now. And like, rewatching that clip just made me bawl my eyes out last night. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But there's a very good cover of it by Golden Smog with Jeff Tweedy on vocals. Check that out.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I wonder if it's in our vast cover songs library here. Wow.
Do you have a cover song Throwback Thursday coming up? Because
we did last week. We did one last week.
Oh yeah, we just listened to that. That's right.
Yeah.
Today was SNL. Last week was cover
Right.
songs. God damn it, I forgot.
Yeah.
Look, my brain doesn't remember last
That's
week.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, for my next song, this is somewhat new actually. It's kind of a new, so just to kind of stay on brand. This one is another Glen Campbell song. Glen Campbell passed away in 2017. Prior to that, he announced that he had Alzheimer's. And he worked on this album called Ghosts on the Canvas. It came out in 2011. It was like it was supposed to be his farewell album, but he ended up releasing 2 other albums after that. But anyway, it's the title track was written by Paul Westerberg. It's a great album. And after his death in 2024, they revisited the sessions and kind of reworked some of the stuff to make it a duets album. And they released it as Duets Ghosts on the Canvas sessions. It has like Carole King's on it, Sting is on it, Eric Clapton, Dolly Parton, X. There's a Glen Campbell X. Yeah, man, it's fucking great. It rips. It's so good. Yeah, there's all kinds of the original Ghosts on the Canvas. The closing track has Billy Corgan on it. I don't know how any of this stuff happens, but anyway.
Who A&R'd this record?
Right? It's insane. But on the Duets album from 2024, Brian Wilson is on there. And they do this song called Strong. And when asked about it at the time, Brian said that they wanted to revisit or he wanted to do Strong, and he wanted to make it kind of like the spiritual cousin to Guess I'm Dumb. And it really is. And it really hits. And it hit then. And now knowing that I think it's technically the last recording that Brian released or was on, it makes this song hit even harder. So this is Strong by Glen Campbell featuring Brian Wilson.
Strong. Wow.
Yeah, just nail it. I mean, like the two of them working together just kind of nail that Burt Bacharach vibe, don't they? Like they just.
So I was just thinking. I was the Bacharach David thing. Totally.
Yeah.
I wasn't that familiar with this record. Wow. Okay, so dude, like, whoa! Look at all these fucking people on this record.
Right? It's crazy. It's really crazy. Elton John's on there. Brian Setzer. Like, it's wild,
okay.
Man.
Dick Dale.
Yeah.
Wendy and Lisa. I wonder if Lisa's on this record. No, she's not. Brian Setzer. Keith Urban.
Hope Sandoval from Mazzy Star.
Whoa! What the fuck? I'm gonna have to listen to this record more than what I just listened to here. We did an interview with Glenn around the time of these last couple records for the World Cafe. And thankfully he was still in pretty good shape, although I think his daughter was on the interview with him, to sort of fill in some of the gaps. But it's funny. Jimmy Webb he wrote a song. Obviously, Jimmy Webb, legendary songwriter, wrote tons of songs, hit songs, which Glen Campbell had. A funny story. I have a funny story about Jimmy Webb. He I don't know if I should tell this story. I'll tell the story anyway. It's not demeaning. Maybe it is. Anyway, Jimmy Webb came in many years ago to do the World Cafe. And it was just him and his keyboard. It was great interview. And about 3/4 of the way through the interview, it's clearly he had a little stuffed nose, right? And he went to look for his nose spray, and he couldn't find it, right? And I think he had a little addiction problem to nose spray, because that happens,
Mm-hmm.
And And I remember he was like, he couldn't find his nose spray, and he got more and more upset. And there was some chaos for a
Oh
few
my god.
minutes until we sent somebody out to get him some fucking nose spray. That's the nice version of the story. But it was
Yeah.
incredible meeting Jimmy Webb, and
I
he had so
bet.
many great stories. I see he's got a song on this record too. It's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man.
All right, so for my last Beach Boys track that I will reveal, it's from an album that um, Beach Boy record collector nerds will say is one of their is not their greatest album, because we all know what their greatest album was, Pet Sounds. It's either one of their greatest albums or one of their worst albums, right? And I kind of think it's somewhere in between. It's called Beach Boys Love You. It came out in 1977. It was very synthesized, pop heavy. It had some really, really bad songs like Ding Dang and Solar System. It had some really, really great songs like The Night Was So Young. It was like classic, song, Beach Boys, Brian Wilson songwriting. But it had what I believe is one of the most underappreciated songs that the Beach Boys ever made. It's a song about Johnny Carson. And it is just fucking beyond genius. So let's listen to it's about Johnny Carson. So let's listen to it, a little bit of it right now. How awesome is that? Come on.
It's the best. It's the
You know,
best.
when guests are boring, he fills up the slack and the network makes him break his back. That's one of my favorite lines in that song. But
it's so great.
You know what? It's so insipid. It's genius. Like, it's brilliant, and that's part of the whole Brian Wilson thing, right? Like, sometimes he would write these incredible like songs. These like they don't make any sense whatsoever, but they still manage to sound so fucking great.
Yeah. It's great.
And that's the point you made earlier. That point about his songwriting.
Yeah.
I remember I didn't really know about I've kind of forgotten about the Beach Boys at this point. When I heard this song for the very first time, you know who turned me on to this song?
Who's it?
Ben Vaughn. Ben Vaughn turned me on to Johnny Carson.
That sounds right. Yeah,
The
that
song.
tracks. That's,
On his radio show.
that's one of
And
that definitely feels like a mood.
I was like, what? It's a total move, right? But
Yeah.
Mike and Carl pretty much sang, most of the song,
Yeah.
And Brian was a huge fan of Johnny Carson, so love this song. But check it out. Beach Boys Love You is a kind of bizarre but very cool record. So album, there you go.
Excellent. Well, all of these songs, of course, as always, will live on our Spotify playlist available in our show notes. You can also find us on the socials. I'm at Yo, That's My Jawn. He's at Some Velvet Blog. You can find the video for these on Substack. That's coming back. The videos, we're doing that again. And also, you can hear Bruce every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WXPN 88.5 or on xpn.org. We mentioned you guys are in the middle of Throwback Thursday over the summer. I'm so glad you guys brought that back. I've been a big fan of it, and it'll be too late for anybody here to listen to it. But today we kind of mentioned it is SNL performances. What's your all-time favorite SNL performance?
There's so many of them. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I played today. There's so many of them. I can't even start. I mean, we know all the ones that are like historically like great, and I played a couple of those today, particularly the Elvis Costello one. But yeah, it was, although I will say that, like, as I was doing research for my 2-hour shift today, as much as we were focused on the musical performances, the breadth of hosts that they had on the shows over the years is probably equally as fun and as cool to talk about as the musical guests were, So
Definitely.
I just forgotten so many. I grew up, like, I was in high school when Saturday Night Live came on, and those were the fucking glory years. And I missed, like, probably 2 decades of Saturday Night Live. How about you? Were you always into it from when you were first aware of it?
Yeah, it's actually funny because there's two things from my childhood that I watched way too early. Like I would sneak up at night and be able to watch it. One of them was Saturday Night Live, and the other was Johnny Carson. Those two shows were so formative to who I am today. It's probably why I want to host comedy all the time. But no, Saturday Night Live was big for me. I remember I used to go to like soccer practice the next morning, half asleep because I stayed up to watch it, and I'd be like, "Did you guys see Saturday Night Live last night?" And they're like, "Why are you awake?" But my favorite musical performance, and you kind of alluded to it, is that Elvis Costello one, but not the original. It's when the Beastie Boys did Sabotage and Stop. And brought him out to do Radio. I just thought that was the coolest moment of all time. Like
that's pretty up there. And of course, Sinead.
Yes, definitely.
Sinead. But okay, Nate. Before we go, someone's going to ask the question. Well, how come you didn't pick a song from Pet Sounds?
It's look, you're going to go. Here's the song you pick from Pet Sounds, start to finish. Just go listen to the fucking album. You don't need us.
Exactly. Right.
Right. You don't need us, my friends.
Exactly. You probably didn't know about those Glen Campbell tunes, right?
That's exactly right.
You probably didn't know about Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson.
This is what you come to us for. You don't want you don't want to hear us say the second most popular album of all time. Like, come on, get out of here. But yeah, so you can hear Bruce all the time. You can hear me. Yo, That's My Jawn will be back this coming Monday. I got an interview with Kevin Hansen from the Fractals and Huffamoose.
Huffamoose, baby. Come on.
Hell yeah.
Huffamoose.
I'm pretty sure you get mentioned in this interview, as a matter of fact. But WXPN definitely comes up because you guys made that band, man.
Okay. Story. Time for one more story about Huffamoose?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, they got signed by Interscope Records. Right. I think they made at least one record, maybe two. Anyway, at the time they got signed, I was doing A&R for Warner Brothers, and they were a hot band in Philly. And I convinced my boss, a wonderful guy named Joe McEwen, legend, to come to Philly. And I set up a showcase with him, all that other stuff. And I thought for sure we were gonna, Anyway, we did a showcase at the North Star Bar. Do you remember the North Star Bar?
It was one of my favorite venues.
It was like during the middle of the day. It was late afternoon or something. It was just the band and me and Joe, and they were good. But ultimately, we passed on the band, and then fucking Interscope Records signed them, and I was so bummed. That I wasn't able to sign a Philly band. But that's okay. Decisions are made for all the reasons they're made. And I'm still very tight with Joe McEwen. So it had nothing to do with our relationship. But man, I'll never forget it. And they were so fucking nervous. I'll never forget it. And but it's just a great memory, So I look forward to hearing that interview with Kevin. That's great. What a talented guy. What a talented guy.
And one of the things I got to pick his brain about is he played Madison Square Garden with Jay-Z's Fade to Black show, which still to this day blows my fucking mind, man. Yeah, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing. Exactly. All right, brother.
Yeah, man. So that's it. Find us on the socials. Like, subscribe, rate, review, share, tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. I'll see you at Ringo.
Yes, sir.